Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Greg Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us live today. Uh, we are MetaStock. I am the marketing manager for MetaStock, and I'm coming at you from our studio in Texas. Today's presenter is Bobby Hill. He'll be coming from Salt Lake City, Utah, which is where our headquarters are. Bobby is one of our own great staff, and he is a very veteran speaker, and I know you're going to enjoy what he has to say. So go ahead and stick around and give him a look and a watch. And when you come on to YouTube, go ahead and give us a chat and say hello. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and play a little video about MetaStock, let you know a little bit about who we are, and we'll be starting our main presentation in about 8 minutes and 45 seconds.
Hi there, Greg Lewis, MetaStock Software. As the marketing director, I get asked all the time, what is MetaStock? How can I help my trades? Well, stick around for about 3 minutes and I'll tell you. MetaStock is an award-winning software and data package that has been helping traders for over 35 years. Simply put, MetaStock is a tool for traders like you to analyze the markets. MetaStock helps you take the guesswork out of trading by offering a methodical, systematic approach to some key questions all traders come up against. Questions like, how do I decide which securities to trade when there are literally thousands to choose from? Which strategy should I use, and how do I test that strategy before spending my first trading dollar? When should I enter and exit a trade? How can I effectively manage the securities I'm interested in? And of course, how do I know where prices will go next? At the core of MetaStock are the PowerTools. The PowerTools give professional-grade analysis tools to private traders like you and me. You can scan the market with the MetaStock Explorer to filter and sort securities that show buy and sell signals based on your criteria. The MetaStock System Tester lets you test most strategies through a process called backtesting, which allows you to see how your strategy would have performed over time. You can easily manage and monitor the securities you are interested in with QuoteCenter. QuoteCenter lets you sort on a variety of criteria to view the data that's important to you. Then just double-click on a security if you want to see its chart. With the MetaStock Forecaster, you can even take advantage of patented technology to view probable future prices. If you're an options trader, you're going to love MetaStock's OptionScope. OptionScope puts all the critical info at your fingertips, displaying sortable, customizable, color-coded options data, including the Greeks. And MetaStock has solutions for traders of all levels and interests. If you're just getting into trading, you will appreciate the education offered by our many built-in systems. In addition to pointing out buy and sell signals, MetaStock explains how they work in an easy-to-follow commentary window. MetaStock has built-in systems based on popular strategies like MACD, Bollinger Bands, turtle trading, candlesticks, and many more. MetaStock even has the very popular and exclusive Rahul Mohindar Oscillator System, or simply known as the RMO. And as you become a more experienced trader, MetaStock grows with you. Advanced analysts will enjoy the comprehensive list of trading systems and indicators and the ability to build their own systems. And if you're a day trader, you can't do better than Zenith, the real-time news, data, and analysis package offered by Refinitiv, a world leader in market data. Add on the world-class support, and it's not hard to see why MetaStock has won the Stocks and Commodities Reader's Choice Award for 26 consecutive years. To find out more about MetaStock and how it can help your trading, visit metastock.com or contact a product professional via phone, email, or chat.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that little video. Again, we are MetaStock, premium software and market data for active traders just like yourself. If you want to hear more about MetaStock, stick around because that's what Bobby Hiller is going to be talking about today. And spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure he's going to give you a pretty good offer on MetaStock if you stick around till the end. He might even throw in a trial offer. So definitely stick around for that. We'll be starting with Bobby in about 4 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and let you listen to, a few things, excuse me. One, please go ahead, do like and subscribe. That helps us, help you. We have about 2 live events we do every week. And if you hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell, you'll be notified and you can watch those events. Typically, they are very, what's the word I'm trying to say? There's a lot of information in them for trading and traders. They're not all just sales pitches. There's usually a lot of great information in them, and I know you won't want to miss a single one. Anyway, I'm going to let you listen to some jazzy music for about the next 3 minutes whilst I click buttons and make sure things are going to work for us. Oh, one last thing. Do please go ahead and ask any questions and comments you want in the chat box. Bobby will be answering any questions you have, and we sure appreciate the feedback, and we really like the engagement here when we have these live events. So go ahead and do that. Stick around for 3 minutes, and thank you so much.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Bobby Hiller over here at MetaStock. I'm in our Salt Lake City headquarters here, and today I'm going to be going through how to find the right strategy for you utilizing the MetaStock platform. So thanks to everyone who's joining us over in GoToWebinar as well as on YouTube. Before I dive too deep into things today, I do, of course, have to go through our disclaimer really quick. Of course, if you decide to circle back around and watch this video later on, or just in case you're looking for my contact details, I like to put those up towards the beginning. So there's my email and my phone number if you want to give me a call. So today's demonstration, it's going to be designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and the accompanying software plugins. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using the specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of the software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, for those of you that might not know what MetaStock is, I'd like to go through kind of just a brief overview of that. So MetaStock, we were founded back in 1982. So we've been in business for over 40 years now, developing technical analysis software. A lot of people didn't even know what a computer really was yet 40 years ago. So really that's saying a lot about how long we've been in business, and it really tells you how we have helped to kind of pioneer things in this industry. So we were purchased by Reuters back in 1995, and we released a quote center, our first real-time data feed based on Reuters technology for MetaStock in 2005. And then back in 2012, so it's been over a decade now since we released our MetaStock Zenith, which is like real-time news, data, and fundamentals. It's a retail version of the Refinitiv Icon platform, if you're familiar with that. So we've sold hundreds of thousands of MetaStock units in this time frame, and also we actually divested from Thomson Reuters or Refinitiv back in 2013. So we're still partnered with them, and they still supply us with our data, but now we have less hoops and things to jump through in order to make advancements in our software. So that's kind of the reason that we divested, and we're still at its core the same company. The average MetaStock employee has actually been here for over 10 years. So that lets you know that you're really kind of working with a family of people here that are dedicated to the company and towards helping to improve it. Another thing I like to talk about that kind of just helps let you learn a little bit more quickly about us is that for 30 straight years in a row, the readers of Stocks and Commodities magazine have rated MetaStock, our software, as the best analysis software in its price category. For 30 years straight. And that's for the MetaStock DC. As I said, about 10 years ago, just over 10 years ago is when we released the real-time version, and we have won 10 years in a row in its price category as well. So today, what are we going to talk about? Why are you guys here? Why am I here going through all of this? Well, I want to touch on a few important key things. The importance of a trading plan. We're going to talk about that first off. And then I'm going to kind of go through a pretty basic trading plan with you guys, the MACD or MACD, moving average convergence divergence. It's a pretty common indicator or trading system that's utilized, and I'm going to just kind of explain how it works to you guys so you have an understanding of a basic plan. I'll show you why MetaStock is such a unique and powerful tool that can take a basic indicator such as that and really enhance it for you. I'm going to show you how you can test some of these different trading strategies and trading plans so that you can maybe find the one that works best for you or that works best in the environment or risk level area that you like to trade in. I'm going to show you how you can scan for different trades. So once you understand your strategy, I'll show you how you can take that strategy and look for different securities that might be indicating that you should take action on them today following that trading plan. And then we'll go over a special offer at the end for anyone that maybe wants to do a trial of MetaStock or try some of these services out for yourself. We'll talk about that too. So if you guys have questions throughout, please feel free, put them into the chat box, either on YouTube or in GoToWebinar. I will say I'm maybe not always perfect at looking over at the chat, but if you see my eyes dash this way, I am taking a quick look, and I will, if I don't get to your question right away, I'll definitely be going through everything at the end and making sure I answer all the questions that I might have missed throughout, but I will try to take breaks every couple of minutes to answer your questions or interact with you. So yeah, and of course, at the end, or if you're watching this later on and you have questions about anything I discussed today, you're welcome to send me an email and I can assist you via email as well. So this is a fun little quote I like to say, a little story I like to go through from Richard Dennis. If you don't know who Richard Dennis is, he's famous. He's often cited as one of the best traders in the world. And he took out a small loan of $1,600, and depending on the source that you go to or how long out you take this, but he turned that $1,600 into 200 million, and then eventually 300, 400 million. But I believe it was in a matter of like 10 years that he got it over $200 million, starting at just $1,600. And he followed a very specific, systematic approach to trading. And he said that he could take his exact trading strategy, exactly how he does it, publish it in the newspaper for free, and nobody would follow it and get the same results because they would let their emotions get involved, or they wouldn't follow it with discipline and consistency. So it's just kind of a famous quote from him. So you could take the best trader in the world, and he says, if you don't have discipline to follow this strategy specifically without incorporating your own emotions and things into the trade, then you're not going to be successful. So fun little quote to say there. All right, so I mentioned how I was going to go over kind of a basic trading plan or strategy with you guys and show you how it works. So that's the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence. And just to kind of simplify this a little bit, so the MACD line, that's the line that you see right here, this red line, it basically takes the 26 period exponential moving average and the 12 exponential moving average. So you subtract, the 12 from the 26, and that gives you the MACD. Or to get the exact number, it's actually 0.075 exponential moving average from 0.15, but those don't really line up with whole numbers. So that's why generally you'll see the 26 period moving average and the 12 EMA. And that gives you the MACD line. And then you take a 9-day exponential moving average and apply that to the MACD. And this is called the signal line. So that's the little blue dashed line that you see right here. Hopefully you guys can see my mouse pretty easily here. All right. And then there's also a lot of people add the MACD histogram onto that. And that's these lines that you see here. So you can see this is the 0 value right here. And then you have the histogram. And what the histogram is doing is it's measuring the distance basically in between the MACD itself and that signal line. So the distance here basically is shown up here. And this can help you to do kind of like further analysis and see when the signal line and the MACD are really starting to be far apart. And that can help you kind of identify like overbought and oversold conditions and things of that nature as well. So the MACD histogram is often how you'll see the indicator placed on charts nowadays. Now, some of the most common uses for the MACD are trend identification. So, the trend is your friend, trade with the tides. When it's, going up, you should go up. When the tide's going down, or when the trend is going down, you should be looking at selling or etc. You can also, as I just mentioned, use it for overbought and oversold readings, as well as to measure divergence. There's actually a lot of different ways of utilizing the MACD. These are just some of the more common ones, some of the ones I'll just kind of quickly show you guys today. I guess, too, to touch a little bit more on what is a trend. So the general direction of a market or the price of an asset. Trends can vary from short to intermediate to long term. So there's multiple different sorts of trends that you can look at. but you can identify if you can identify a trend, it can be highly profitable for you, and it'll really help you to enhance your trades. So yeah, like I mentioned, one of the most common uses of the MACD is to help you identify that trend. And so when the MACD is above its signal line, the histogram will be above 0, as I mentioned. So right here, you can see that the MACD goes above the signal line. And you can also see it matches up here when the histogram comes up. And so what we've done with MetaStock, if you're looking at like our expert advisor or something of that nature, we've just put a ribbon down here to kind of simplify that even further. Red means a downward trend or a stop, and green is go, pretty common. So bearish, bullish trend being submitted there. And this is just showing the converse when you have it being bearish. So generally with the MACD, you would, buy when you get that crossover going above, or sell when it's going below. And that's pretty easy to see with this indicator, but it still kind of takes up a lot of space on your chart, and you might still have to spend a moment really kind of looking at it to see when you have that crossover. And sometimes, like when I first got into trading, I would always forget which one was the signal line, which one was the MACD, or et cetera, with different indicators and things. That can be something kind of easy to mix up. So what MetaStock has done with our expert advisor system, and I'm going to jump into the software soon and kind of show you guys this. We won't be looking at slideshows the entire time. But if you apply like our expert advisor with the MACD, we'll generate a buy signal right on your chart. So you can see here, there's a MACD buy signal, right? When it goes to bullish down here, you can see with our trend. So these all line up. And then also you get the sell signal when you have the cross down here. And it goes into a bearish environment, you'll get a sell signal on your chart. So you can save a lot of real estate, so to speak, on your charts by simply having like an expert advisor that'll read the MACD for you. I kind of covered on those already. You can also, with our expert advisor, when you have those overbought and oversold readings, we'll actually identify them on your chart for you again if you attach our expert advisor. So you can see these red marks here on the price. Are showing you that, hey, this is currently in an overbought condition. You can also measure divergence with the MACD as well. So lots of things that you can do with it there. And instead of just clicking through these slides, I want to show you guys kind of how that works inside of MetaStock. So let me open up my MetaStock chart here. So this is MetaStock. Actually, I was running a scan earlier. Let's go into a chart. Looks like I have one selected already. I'm not sure what it is. Let's just turn that off. Let's open up Ford, because that's easy, one letter. All right, so here is just a blank chart of Ford. Nothing super special initially right off the bat when you're looking at this with MetaStock. You can see it's just kind of a price chart here. Maybe I'll even just zoom in a little bit so we can make things a little bit bigger. Now, I'm not going to be doing like a full demo of MetaStock and all the features and things that are available in here, but I do kind of like to show you guys, why I think MetaStock is, often one of the best analysis platforms that you can utilize, and why it has a lot of great features for both beginners and advanced traders that'll just make your trading a lot easier. So again, we've been talking about this MACD. Let's go ahead and just grab that and drop it on my chart here. This is going to apply the indicator. You can see here, I can go in and kind of customize the parameters on this. We're going to use the standard 9 period signal line here. That's what that is. We can go into the color and the style of it. This all works for me. I'm just going to hit OK so you can see what it looks like. Now, this was, again, just the MACD, not the histogram. That I selected just because it was up here on the bar. And so this shows you that MACD where you have these crossovers. So this is actually a really good example, because right here, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on if you're having the crossover is going up or down. And same thing right here, like, did that actually cross over? You can't quite tell maybe from simply looking at the indicator in this format. So that's one spot where let's see how big of a difference, it makes. I come in and apply my other indicator here. So I've been on this demo computer, we have so many different indicators listed. I forget which order we applied them all in. So this one is the histogram. So just to kind of show you how the histogram can be useful at times. So here, when I couldn't quite tell if it's crossing above or below, it's actually quite a bit easier to read in this histogram version here, as I can see clearly. Well, it might be hard for you guys, but I can see that the line is pointed downwards here and it's upwards here. So having the histogram does help a little bit, especially if I get rid of this one. And if we maybe zoomed in even farther, you can see it's far more clear where you have the crossing and where exactly it started and switched over. But it can still sometimes be a little bit difficult to read. So this is where that expert advisor I was telling you guys about earlier can really come in handy inside of MetaStock. So even if I just took a basic system like this MACD, and don't worry, we're going to be covering why you might want to use other strategies and things of that nature. The MACD is just to keep things kind of basic here. So let's go ahead and jump in here to my expert advisor, the MACD by MetaStock, and apply that. Now, this, I would argue, is much easier to just at a glance look and see exactly what you might want to know with the MACD. So this is telling me exactly when it's a buy and exactly when it's a sell. It's also identifying these overbought conditions here in the red, just right on my chart. So I don't have to utilize this full indicator or histogram down here. I can very easily see when I'm in a bullish zone, when I'm in a bearish zone, when I had a buy signal or a sell signal on my chart. And you can see, generally speaking, the MACD works pretty well too. That's why it's like a common, easy to use indicator. Buy here, sell here, buy, sell. It's not always perfect. Look at that. You would have lost a little bit right here. Also, it would have been nice if this one got you out a little bit sooner. But generally speaking, the MACD is a pretty good like trend identification and easy to follow kind of indicator. Oftentimes our system tests will show that you would potentially make money with the MACD, but is it the best? I would argue that it's not. I think that it's definitely a great indicator, but I think there are some better indicators, or I'd say systems as a whole, to help perform even better. But again, this is just kind of for demonstration purposes to show you how this works. Now, so with that expert advisor taking a simple indicator and then giving you all of this information, yes, that's useful, especially on the more complex trading strategies that aren't as easy as just seeing, like when there's a crossover or something of that nature. Sometimes a strategy might be far more complex, more indicators and things involved to get a buy and a sell signal. And that's really where this expert advisor inside of MetaStock can help you out by doing all the analysis on the background and then simply putting the buy or sell signal on your chart here, or adding other codes such as highlighting the price and things of that nature when something special is happening. Now, with the MACD or any other strategy, it can still be really easy to forget all the different rules and things. And again, these rules are important, just like for Richard Dennis, he says if you don't follow the rules exactly as they are, then you're not going to succeed. If you're letting your emotion kind of creep in and you're like, oh, it's starting to go down a little bit, and you get scared and you close out your position just for it to reverse and head right back up right afterwards. We want to remove emotions. And in order to do that, we have to have rules laid out clearly, and then we have to follow them. And so with this expert advisor here, I've turned on that commentary for this. And let me make sure I'm on a good part on the chart here. So currently we're just on today's current bar. That's what this black downward arrow is indicating. And it's letting me know, hey, I'm looking at the MACD by MetaStock here on 9/20/2023, September 20th. It's letting me know the current close price, the change it's made, the MACD value, as well as the signal line value right here. But then it's also giving me some useful information down here. So it's saying currently the MACD is bullish since it's trading above its signal line. So let's actually zoom in a little here. Oops, so you can see the histogram is positive. We went above the signal line right here at this buy arrow there. So that was 17 periods ago that we got this signal. And since it's crossed its moving average, it's gone up 5.33%. It lets me know the high and the low range. It's saying it's not currently overbought or oversold, and there haven't been any divergent signals within the last 5 periods. Now, what I'm going to do is click this arrow, and this is going to move the day that I'm looking at here. So maybe I actually want to go back and click on this buy signal right there. Get that out of the docked view here. So you can also change the commentary to go right over the buy signal, and it'll tell you like, hey, this is when it crossed over, and it would say 0 periods ago. You can also just kind of highlight over the bars here, and it'll tell you information that you're looking at. I also sometimes like to turn on our data window here. And if I cross over something like, and I have the, MACD applied, you can see in my data window. Oh, sorry, I went to go scroll over it. You can see in the data window, it's telling you what the histogram value, what the history is. You can see the price change and things of that nature as well with the histogram. I actually needed to load a little bit more data onto this chart when I first opened it to show you guys everything I wanted to in the commentary, but that's okay. I think you kind of get the point. You can move the commentary through and it'll explain the trading rules to you for that system, and it'll kind of help guide you through that trade, help you understand how to follow it. So we know that by following a trading strategy, you can have a lot of success, potentially Richard Dennis success, and turn $1,600 into millions. But you know, really, it all starts at the basics. I wouldn't expect something like that at all. But by following a trading strategy and following the rules, you can likely expect to have some success with it. And MetaStock can really help you to do that by not only having hundreds of different indicators and trading strategies built into it, but by giving you expert advice on these trading strategies to really help you follow the rules within the strategy, help you remove those emotions. And not only that, but there's also tools in here to really help you kind of identify which system's going to be best for you, and then to help you actually search for and buy these and search for like the buy and sell signals or any other sort of performance or mathematical criteria. You can do scans in the platform to help you identify and find those, and just make your trading day and your trading process a lot easier. MetaStock is, you know, designed to help you remove all of your emotions from those trades and to just simplify everything to help you have further success. And let me kind of go into that a little bit further with you guys and show you, because maybe you're like, okay, I understand the MACD. I understand, hey, it's pretty unique in MetaStock where it'll really simplify the strategy for you. Well, you know, the main question of today's webinar is, how can you find the right strategy for you? Well, let's move into our next tool now, and I'll show you guys kind of how you can do that. And again, we'll maybe just start with the initial example to let you know more about the MACD and how it might have performed. Well, actually, I'll do, this is the scan I was running just a little bit earlier. When you first saw me open MetaStock, there was a scan that had completed. And all I did is I actually just randomly clicked into some of our PS systems, which PS stands for performance systems. MetaStock actually includes about 80 different performance systems as of the release of MetaStock 18. So we used to charge like $400 for this performance systems package with all of these highly rated systems. Now they're just all included for free in MetaStock if you have the most recent version. So if you're on a lease or a trial or something like that. And I just selected some of those at random because I know most of them to work pretty well. And then I also selected the MACD here, expert system on a system test. And then what I've done down here, this is our instrument list. You can see MetaStock has access to over 324,000 securities. That's because we offer global market data for almost all markets. And now you might be saying like, hey, I don't need that many securities. I only trade the US, or I only trade in India, or whatever it may be. That's fine. You can customize MetaStock. You can weed out the noise here. In fact, with all new signups, anyone that signs up for a trial or purchases MetaStock, we actually reach out to you and offer to do like a one-on-one demonstration where we help set up the software for you at no extra cost. We can go through and remove all the different regions or zones that you might not want to trade or have to look at. So this is just our demonstration computer. So we have everything kind of listed in here, but it's still easy to break through or break it down even if you have everything. So as I was saying, I went into the public online data list here, our index constituents, and I just took, I believe, yeah, the S&P 100 here. So just for testing purposes, basically what I have this set up to do is to do the MetaStock system test on the MACD, as well as just a handful of other systems inside of MetaStock that I just kind of randomly selected here. We'll even just click a couple other random ones just to see what will happen. And now over here on the right-hand side, I have kind of like the options and the settings for it. So I can decide, hey, am I someone that only wants to take long trades? Or maybe, you know, if the market was in a strong uptrend, which, so you just want to do long, you can set this to just long or just short or both, whatever you may want to utilize. You can tell it the range to do this test on. So I have it set at 1,250 records. That's about 5 years worth of data because you have about 250 trading days roughly in a trading year. So by doing 1,250 records, this system test is going to tell me how all of these systems I've selected would have performed if I traded them on the S&P 100 over the last 5 years. I can select the interval. So here I just have the daily interval selected for demonstration purposes. I think that makes things pretty easy. And then let's go ahead and click into the trade options button right here as well. And I'll show you guys some of this. So you can actually go in here, and what I want to show you guys is maybe this account tab. So you can say, hey, I have an account size of $10,000. So that's what I have this set as. You can set this to whatever your account size is. Sometimes people will like section off their trading accounts. They'll have 10,000 for like high risk trades, 50,000 for medium risk, et cetera, et cetera. So you can utilize this how you want. For testing purposes, we're just gonna say it's a $10,000 account and they're willing to have up to 50% of that in a trade at one time. Then you can come in here and set broker rates. So if you have interest rates on margin, or if you have to pay commissions on an entry or an exit, you can put that in here so that you know the results that you receive are best set to match your actual trading account or brokerage account, et cetera. I know nowadays, most people trade for free, depending on where you are, I guess, and what brokerage you use. But there are options in here to set it up how works best for you. You can also say, hey, when I'm doing these system tests, I want it to buy at the close when I get a signal, or buy at the open, et cetera, whatever it may be. What I have clicked here is realistic market prices. And so basically what that does, if I'm looking at a daily chart and I get a buy signal on the MACD, that buy signal is generated at the end of the day. You know, basically at the close, I got a buy signal. So if I have realistic market prices set for the system test, I'm not buying right at the buy signal on the chart. I'm actually buying at the open of the next day because I got my buy signal. So then when I go to place my trade, maybe I just set it up to buy right at the open of the market the next day. Sometimes what I'll personally do, I know a lot of others do with MetaStock, is, you know, maybe wait for the market to open and make sure that it's trending in the same direction in the first 20 minutes of the open or something before getting into a trade. But this is basically saying, yeah, when I get a buy signal, I'm getting in at the open of the next day. When I get a sell signal, I'm selling at the open of the next day. Or oftentimes for me, when I'm selling, I'll jump on the last 15 minutes of the day. And if I can tell that it's going to signal or I'm going to have a sell signal at the close, then I'll just go ahead and close out. But set it how you want, whatever matches your style. I'm going to go ahead and click OK here. And so that's what everything was already set at. And then I did a start system test. So because I actually just ran that scan already, we don't have to run it again, but just to show you guys what it looks like when you run one, I'm going to deselect everything. And again, we'll go back to just our initial example of the MACD. If I was just testing the MACD on the S&P 500, I'm going to click Start. You'll see the system tester, it's kind of running in the background. So if I want to go back and look at my charts or something of that nature while this is running, I can do that. It does take a couple of seconds to kind of get initialized and to start going, especially when I'm doing webinars. That slows down our bandwidth a little bit for this, but generally it's just going to be under 30 seconds to test a certain strategy. And that's why when I had, a couple dozen or so of them selected, I did it right before the presentation for you guys, so you wouldn't have to sit through that. But generally speaking, it goes by very, very quickly. And it's actually, I enjoy showing a single system test first before showing what it looks like when you're testing multiple strategies. But again, so if you were to just test one strategy, say if you were a person that's like, you know what, I know what the MACD is, I like it, that actually is the system I know I want to trade. I just don't know which securities to utilize it on, because as you saw earlier, I mean, if you have MetaStock, you have access to over 300,000 different securities. So, you know, we know that the MACD generally works pretty well, but as you can actually see from this chart, it doesn't always perform positively. So out of these roughly 100 securities, you know, it looks like there was maybe a dozen or so here that I would have lost money on if I used the MACD trading system on these securities. I would have lost money. And you know what, that's okay. It's not bad to see red on a system test like this. This is just data that you're receiving. It's actually a good thing, I would argue, because now I know that over the last 5 years, the MACD hasn't been a great trading strategy for all of these securities that are in the red. So if I were to, I guess I could sort this by net loss, basically. So I can see with like Walgreens and Starbucks, et cetera, all of these up here, these were not good securities to be using the MACD on. And that's okay, because not every trading system works, you know, with every different security. That's exactly what this is telling you. Also, something that can change drastically here is if, you know, you were to switch to buys only or shorts only, etc., you're going to get drastically different results, because maybe some securities will drop significantly faster than others, like certain things that were in like the healthcare industry during COVID. Those had a lot of volatility and etc. So just different things to keep in mind here. I'm just kind of letting you guys know how to read the data that this is giving you. And then there's different methods of actually analyzing that data. So to sort this, though, again, I will say, for the most part, the MACD is profitable. And you can also come in here and see what it was the most profitable on. And actually, Tesla being number one, it looks like, and then Ford, so that was an example we were looking at earlier on the chart, is the number two. So over the last 5 years, this tells me right here very quickly at a glance, I would have had 162% gain using the MACD on Tesla, or 143% gain if I use the MACD buying longs and shorts over the last 5 years on Ford. So there's other things, though, that you want to look at here, and that's important to know, because everyone knows that Tesla is actually quite frantic. It's always jumping up and down pretty quickly. So what I've done is I've double-clicked into it. Now it's giving me the system test results data for that MACD on Tesla, the last 1,250 bars. So this tells me since October 2nd, 2018 through September 20th, 2023. But right here under the performance tab, so this is going to give me some more information, because this is actually very important. So we saw, okay, yeah, the MACD out of the S&P 100 performed the best on Tesla. But if you look at this, you can see the buy and hold profit over that same period of time. The performance on it was actually 586%. So if you had just bought Tesla, held on to it, and not actually traded it, you weren't buying and selling throughout those 5 years, you would have made, you know, 420% more than having traded it with the MACD. So that's actually very important to know. And now this actually tells me, hey, maybe actually the MACD isn't the best for this strategy. And there's different ways of testing this, because what I did on this test, I took the MACD and I tested against 100 different systems, or sorry, 100 different indicators, securities. There we go, I can talk. And it's letting me know how that worked. Well, a reverse way of doing this is if you knew that you wanted to trade Tesla specifically and you wanted to find the best strategy for Tesla, is I could have selected Tesla as the only one, and then I could have chosen 100 different strategies, or all of the strategies within the MetaStock system tester to run against Tesla, and then it'll tell me which of all of those hundreds of strategies perform the best on Tesla, specifically on the time period I want to look at. And with my account size and all of that. So there's a couple of ways of using it, but it can be really helpful and useful to kind of jump into these to get a little bit more data. Like, this is something important to know. So, okay, yes, the MACD performed well on this, but probably most trading strategies performed well on it because just the buy and hold performance on it was so good over the last 5 years. So yeah, that's all important info here. Another thing that's important to kind of look at, or that I like to utilize, is this equity graph here, which I've clicked into from my system test. And what I'm seeing here is, okay, I started with that $10,000 account. Well, actually with Tesla, it looks like in that first year or two here, I actually lost money, and it went down pretty significantly. At one point, almost lost all of my funds, but then somehow I was able to, that had kind of turned around. You know, Tesla's been up and down, and it looks like in the last 3 or 4 years here is where it's really gone up substantially. So if you have an equity graph that's just up and down and up and down and up and down, and then ends in an upward spot, like, okay, yeah, it's been profitable over these 5 years, profitable over the 5 years. But if you have a chart like that that's going all up and down with an equity curve, the equity over time chart that is, then maybe it's actually not a good strategy for it. So it'll have really big winners and really big losers type of thing. What I like to see on an equity over time is consistent increase, so that, you know, it's consistently being profitable and not just having these big wins and big losses type of thing. So really, if you just looked at this over like the last 2 years or so, I'd say that's pretty good. That's the kind of equity curve you want to see, is just gradual increase over time. So again, this kind of tells me that, hey, maybe the MACD is not the best strategy for trading on Tesla. Oops, so I meant to go back and not actually close that down. So let's go ahead and pull this report back up. By date, I ran this one today. Oh, here's from 101. All right, so what I actually just opened up is that larger test that I did. It has the MACD in it. So if I click into this, this actually takes me back to that same exact MACD report that we were looking at earlier. And I guess, yeah, for example purposes, let's look at the Ford one too. So with Ford and the MACD on the system test here, the same one, 1,250 records. So with the MACD, the performance of this over the last 5 years was 143%, and the buy and hold performance was 21%. So this is actually a great example for you guys. And this tells you, all right, well, with Ford, if I had just bought it and held it over the last 5 years, I would have made 21% on my money. Well, if I traded it with the MACD, I would have made 143%. So this is very useful information, even though Tesla was listed as #1. That's not because the MACD was such a good trading system for it. It's just because Tesla performed so well over the last 5 years. But really, Ford is a great example of something to be traded by the MACD. And again, the MACD's been around for a really long time. It's kind of something that a lot of people utilize. I'd say Ford has also been around for a really long time. It's a really well-known brand. So it makes sense to me that the MACD would trade or perform well on something like Ford, because they're both kind of just a core strategy, a core stock, I should say, as well. Sorry, you're getting held up on my words a little bit this morning. I actually have not had my coffee yet, so we'll blame that. But thanks for sticking with me, guys. So Ford, though, is a great example of something that you would want to utilize the MACD on, because by trading it with the MACD, you're going to have significantly better results than by if you just bought and hold it, or if you were to just buy and hold it. Now, there's other really useful things that I just want to quickly mention here with this system tester. We've stuck around just this little top box here, but if you go through here, you can see the total amount of trades. So this has had 107 trades. 80 of them were long and 27 of them were short. Oh, sorry, this is profitable trades. The trade summary, there were actually a total of 218 trades. So the profitable trades, though, there were 80 long, 27 short. The average profit on my $10,000 account was $326. The highest profit was almost $2,400 here. And you can see it, the most consecutive wins in a row, it had 5. For unprofitable, so this is actually kind of important too. So, and something to keep in mind too with a lot of strategies, and also why you have to remember to remove your emotions from your trades and stick to the strategy when you know it performs well, is over the last 5 years using the MACD, there were 111 losing trades and 107 winning trades. Now think about that for a moment. How can that be? Well, there's actually, a very simple answer. And the answer is the average winner was larger than the average loser. So the average profit from a winning trade was $326. The average loss was $185. So even though there were more winners than losers, when it was an unprofitable trade, it would likely get you out very quickly. So you might have gotten in and then you've gotten out very quickly, so you only lost a small amount. The largest amount that you ever lost was $883 in this example. Well, the highest profit was well over double that. So that's another thing that's very important to know, because for some people, a trading strategy like that might not work well for them. If you would prefer to have a few things, maybe you don't want to take this many trades over 5 years. So maybe that's a reason that the MACD wouldn't be a great strategy for you, even though it performed really, really well here. Or maybe you're just someone that you would rather have smaller wins, but you want to have a higher percentage of wins. And okay, you can use our system tester and utilize, do tests on these different strategies in here, and you can view the winners and the losers. That's actually something that shows up on the previous tab. If I go back here. Well, this is just showing the MACD, but trade profit and loss. So this is telling me there were 107 winners, 111 losers. And you can kind of sort this so that if you prefer to have more winners versus losers, etc., you can kind of go through and do evaluations on that. Also, you can sort by number of trades. So maybe you don't want to take a lot of trades, like this one only had 96 trades over the 5 years, etc. Those are things that you can easily kind of sort through and do here. And again, this is just with the MACD. We can also go back further to when I included all of those multiple performance systems. So this is looking back at that page. So this is telling me the trading strategy here, the MACD. That's that one. Let's actually go by best profit. Oops. Best profit. This number 2. I think this one had some errors with it. Here we go. So anyways, by sorting on this, we can look at the best profit. We can look at the lowest, or the worst, sorry. And the reason that it's showing like this too, why these aren't lined up perfectly, is because each one of these strategies is working on, is showing you another 100 things within it. So if I say best profit here, oops, and I go into this turtle breakout, and then I look at the best profit, it had the highest one here. So this one on Tesla had a 445% gain. In that regard, you can see the winners and losers on how this performance system tested. I just wanted to show you guys, though, yeah, you can look at the average trades, the average win profit to loss ratio here as well. And again, this is showing you for 100 different securities that are within each of these trading strategies as well. So that's why it might look a little more confusing here, but it's easy to know, like, hey, this one normally takes less trades. This strategy here takes a lot of trades. This one had 392 on average versus this one having 54 trades on average in a 5-year span, or this one having only 31. So these are things that you can really quickly kind of look at. But again, let's actually maybe dive into one of these other strategies so I can just show you a little bit more about this, and you guys can kind of learn how these all work. So this is the turtle breakout. The turtle strategy is actually one of the strategies that Richard Dennis used, the person that I was talking about earlier on. he helped to create the turtle strategy. All right, so let's sort this one by net profit here. And again, we're going to see Tesla at the top probably almost every time, just because it performed so well over those 5 years. So any sort of trending type of trading system is going to perform well over the last 5 years on Tesla. So that will often be up at the top here. But I can quickly look here and see, hey, this actually had 19 winners and 25 losses on Tesla. So again, if you're someone that wants to have more wins than losses, I mean, maybe Tesla's not a security that you want to trade, which you can easily figure out from the system tests that I've done and also from these different systems on it. But let's go down to the next option. So with Apple on here, this one had 24 winning trades and 13 losses. Okay, so that sounds pretty promising. If you're someone that likes to see more wins than losses, even though you're considering the risk at reward ratio with average profit, average loss, etc. For some people, they just know that, hey, I'd rather have more winners than losers. So this could be a strategy you might want to consider for to use, the PS Turtle Breakout #1. And with this, we can see the performance here again. So the annualized performance was about 27.49% with this strategy versus the buy and hold performance being 21%. So the Turtle Breakout is a better trading system to use than to just buy and hold when you're trading Apple, according to this system test that I ran here with the amount of data and everything that we have loaded here. And let's look into that equity curve that we talked about too. Okay, yeah, this is a very promising looking equity curve. Remember how I said you don't want to see this jumping up and down. You want to see a gradual increase over time. And that's basically what we have here. So this is something that would be a great example to utilize. Like, I've found my strategy that I want to trade potentially after looking at these indicators that only took me like a few minutes to go through. But again, like I mentioned earlier, there's different ways of using these tools within MetaStock. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this system tester. And I'm going to go into, well, actually, let's just talk about it a tiny bit more here. So with this, again, I was just doing the S&P 100. Whatever market you're in, we have over 300,000 securities, with whether it's futures, Forex, or equities within a different region. You can dive into there and test the different strategies against that. Or, as I said earlier, another way of doing this. So, oops, let's actually do just a real quick example. Tesla. I guess I could have just typed it in, but okay. So I'm selecting Tesla. Maybe I know that I want to trade Tesla, but I don't know what strategy to utilize on it. Well, I could grab Tesla, and if I really wanted to, I could grab all 252 of these different trading strategies and run the test against Tesla. That's kind of a lot. I'm just going to randomly click a handful of them here, and we'll just to show you an example, but select as many as you wanted. Also, you can create your own system tests as well. You can see how fast that went through when I'm only doing it on one security, and view the results. And now I can look at these different strategies and how they performed on Tesla. So you can work at it from different angles. You can find the strategy first, or you can find the security first, and then kind of work from there and utilize the system tester to see which trading systems match the personality of which securities that are within your time frame, where we did everything on daily and we did both long and short trades. You're going to get different results if you're only looking at shorts. You're going to get different results if you're only looking at long trades. Also, depending on the interval, whether you're trading a 5-minute chart or a daily or a weekly or a monthly, quarterly, etc. But you can go through and play with the different settings in here, play with your account size and everything, and see how it's going to work best for you. But one thing that we had done is, let's turn these off. So maybe after identifying, like, hey, I actually really like the MACD, or I really like that, I believe it was the Turtle Breakout 1. Well, another very useful tool inside of MetaStock that can help I guess, when to trade as well. So instead of having to open up all 100 charts of the S&P 100 and then applying like the MACD or the Turtle Breakout Expert Advisor and looking for my buy signals and clicking through them, we have this extremely useful tool called the Explorer, and it's going to do all of the exploring and searching for us. So I'm going to come into our Explorer here, and I'm just going to type in MACD. Again, that was just an easy example that we've been utilizing. There's a few different explorations here. If I actually just hover over it, it'll tell me what it is. So this one's going to display securities that generated a MACD buy signal. As simple as that. If we wanted it to be more in depth, I could do this MACD expert system, and it shows buy and sell signals that are crossing above or below the 9-period moving average. So this could be considered a buy or a sold. It'll also find stocks that are in the overbought or oversold conditions if I utilize this scan here. But for this demo, we'll just look for ones that have a buy signal right now. And then again, over 300,000 securities to look at. Maybe though, we'll just do what I did earlier. We're looking at the major index, the S&P 100 here. So we'll start with this example first, and same thing. One thing that I'd say is very important when you're trying to match strategies from like the system tester, your chart, the Explorer, etc. Because a lot of strategies utilize like moving averages and things of that nature, you can get slightly different results depending on the amount of data that you have loaded onto your chart. So to make sure that everything's matching up, just use the same amount of data throughout. So I like to use 5 years as a basis, but whatever it is for you. So I'm also going to do my exploration utilizing 5 years of data, and we're going to search for that. I've clicked start. So this is starting. Takes a second to kind of get going here, but then you can see this is searching through hundreds of instruments just like that. So right here, you can say we have a 98% rejected rate. 98% rejected, oh, isn't that bad? No, again, this is a good thing. This is like seeing securities that the MACD didn't trade well on. Well, good, now I know not to trade the MACD on those securities. Well, again, with this is just saying, hey, 98% don't have a buy signal today based off of the daily time frame for the MACD buy signal. That's okay. That means it just saves me from this example of having to look at 99 because there's 101 securities in here. So I don't have to look at these 99 symbols here because I know none of them have a buy signal today. But if I go here, there are 2 securities, Amgen and Coca-Cola, that are generating a buy signal today. You can also see I have some columns here. So it's actually letting me know, hey, this is the current close price of Coca-Cola and Amgen. It's letting me know the MACD value, what it was previously, the percent above its signal as well. So if I just look at Coca-Cola, for example, I'll double click and open this up. I have all my charts set to automatically open just on this clean template here. But one thing you could actually do, or I'd maybe even recommend, so instead of the clean template, if you know you like the MACD or whatever strategy you're primarily using, or you've created your own custom template, which you can very easily do, I would just have that set kind of as your main template here. So I've done that, and I'm actually going to go back into my exploration now. Let's view that report I just had. So now if I open up Coca-Cola, this is the MACD template. So earlier I actually just had the expert advisor attached. This template here, it applies that same expert advisor. So you can see it has the buy and sell signals here, but this specific template has like a darker themed background. In MetaStock, we have like over 16 different themes that you can choose from though. So you can always kind of come in here and change these to how you might want them. I really like this black steel one. But again, getting back to the chart, if we see up here, we have that histogram. This time the histogram is actually being measured instead of those lines. Color style. So you're getting this kind of blue filled in gradient area instead of lines. But yeah, that's fine. You can change this to how you want it to be. But you can see it's just crossing there. It's kind of hard to tell. Really easy to tell down here with our expert advisor that, hey, this is a buy signal on today. We've just gone into a bearish zone here. Also, when you have this template applied and the expert, you can turn on the commentary. Oops. And the commentary is letting me know the MACD is bullish since it's trading above its signal line, which just happened 0 periods ago. There you go. It's as easy as that. So once you have this trading strategy you want to utilize, you can run an exploration to look for securities that are giving you a buy or sell signal that day. And there's a few other ways that you can really kind of customize this for you too. So if I go back into my Explorer here, so we did the MACD. There's other things you can do here too. So say you searched a larger list instead of 100 securities, you were looking at thousands, and then you got multiple results from your exploration. Something else kind of unique that you can do is you can come into your system tester here. Oh, I have Tesla typed in up there. That's why it's not showing me everything. Okay. Oops. So after you've run an exploration, you can actually have your last exploration results show up here in the system tester. So again, we had the 2 results there. So I can actually click both of those 2 results. And if I now wanted to kind of work in this workflow and run the MACD expert system test on just the things that have the buy signal today, that's another quick workflow. So now I can look and see like, hey, this is how it performed on Coca-Cola, which is actually, historically, it hasn't performed great on Coca-Cola, so that would actually weed this one out. So I know, hey, that's not something I'm going to go in and trade. But with Amgen, sorry, I might be pronouncing that wrong, it has performed well. If you actually, we can look into here and see the performance, the annualized performance, etc. We can go and look at our equity curve. This one's a little more unique. It's actually not bad, though, still worth considering. So that's just another kind of workflow. There's a lot of ways to go about this. We have a lot of training material kind of showing you how to go about this in different ways. Also, I kind of briefly mentioned earlier, we do set all of our new users up with like a one-on-one session where we do a full demo of the software. So we can kind of help clean things up, show you different workflows and things of that nature for you to go through. So this just shows you a few different ways of how you can kind of identify strategies that work well using, say, the system tester. And say when I had that result, that list earlier of a lot of results, let's go ahead and pull that up. So this was when we did, when I did a scan for multiple different kind of random strategies, including the MACD. Say if you did decide to trade the MACD, something a lot of our users will do is they'll take, like, say, the top 10, 15, or 20 securities in here. I just shift click and grab them all. You can like copy those into your clipboard, and then you can paste them into like a custom list inside of MetaStock that you can save or put them inside of our quote center, etc. So, you know, the MACD works really well on these top 20 or so strategies. Save them into like a list or a watch list in MetaStock, and then you can just run that MACD exploration each day on that list. That way, every time that you get a buy signal, you don't have to go back in and double check the system test. You already know, hey, these 20 or so securities have performed really well with the MACD. So whenever I run my exploration against this specific list I've created, I know that it's has very high trade potential for me. I always recommend still kind of going in and looking at your charts and kind of reconfirming things quickly, which is actually what we did here with Coca-Cola. And we actually saw from our system test that Coca-Cola is not a great one to trade with the MACD. Just it doesn't have the same kind of trend as the MACD system kind of follows, et cetera. That's okay. We know that. And even just looking at the chart here, I can actually kind of see that without having ran that system test that, hey, there was a sell signal here and it just dropped until now. So I can see that's not necessarily the best. It's kind of choppy right here as well. So I can see kind of historically here, even just by looking at the chart, it does not have the best symbols or signals with the MACD. But an even easier way to know that is via the system tester. Again, everything was kind of just demonstration purposes today. I didn't pick or choose any of the securities I was going to look at, just kind of showing you guys in real time how you can kind of do analysis here. And to recap, if you want to find a trading strategy that works well for you, you can use MetaStock and you can dive into the hundreds of built-in systems that we already have, or what I know a lot of our users do that have a lot of success is we're also partnered with dozens of different professional traders that or institutions that have their trading strategies, and we've worked with them to incorporate their strategies into MetaStock, and you can get their system tests or their explorations and scans and their templates, et cetera, in MetaStock, and not only have our tools to help you get guided through those trades with the commentary and the buy and sell signals, but you can also get like expert training from our partners too. So it's a great thing to do is to kind of combine those things to help you find the best strategy that you can get a lot of support from both MetaStock and like the creators of the strategies to kind of help you with that. And then again, too, there's so many other tools in MetaStock for you to utilize. We've hardly scratched the surface. I just showed you guys some really basic charts with the really basic strategies and the exploration tool and the system tester, but there's a lot more that you can go into MetaStock and use and utilize too. So something to keep in mind. I highly recommend diving into some of our other YouTube videos that you can find, or just visiting our website, metastock.com, to learn more about these strategies. But to kind of recap what I've been going through with you guys today, because I know we're up on that 1 hour mark, let's look here. So with MetaStock, we'll give you the tools you need to succeed to help you find different trading strategies that'll work for you, to help you back test them, to help you understand how they work by giving you the expert commentary to go through them, and also just making it quick and easy too, so you can immediately see it if you have a buy or a sell signal on your chart versus having to go through all the different indicators and kind of understanding them. With your MetaStock subscription, we also give you free white glove setup and installation service, free unlimited support, free unlimited access to recorded training. I've done everything kind of just generic today, but we can go far more in depth into specific strategies and use cases with you on an individual basis at no additional charge. Now you might be asking, okay, well, how much does it cost? I've been utilizing the MetaStock real-time software for this demo, but you could also simply just use MetaStock daily charts. As a one-time cost, that's $13.95, but we have a lease option that's just $100 a month, and then you can get regional data starting at $165 per month. Or, so I said I've been using the real-time software, but everything I've shown you today has actually been on a daily time frame. So everything I've shown you is actually available on MetaStock DC, which has a $4.99 one-time charge to own it for life, and then data starting at $27.95 per month for our data, or you can use your own local data provider as well. However, what I would actually recommend if you haven't used MetaStock yet is to do a trial of our service. And with today's promotion, I can actually give you a buy 1 month, get 2 months for free, and you can get MetaStock DC with data included and our training for just $59. Or if you want the MetaStock real-time for intraday access, and you also want access to our news and fundamental platform, Zenith, that we released over a decade ago, you can get that for $265. And again, this is a buy 1 month, get 2 months for free. You'll get our latest MetaStock 18. That includes that performance systems package I had mentioned earlier. You'll get the white glove installation support. You'll get data for the region of your choice. You can have all of that. If you want to sign up online, you can visit metastock.com/APAC-summit 3-for-1, or just jump into our sales chat. We actually have a sales team that's available to answer your questions and kind of go through anything with you. metastock.com/sales chat. Chat in with one of them and they'll help you out to get that offered. And yes, as mentioned, you'll have the MetaStock 18 with that too. That's our latest version. If I kind of go through here, I didn't want to spend the whole time on slides with you guys, so but I did have more prepared just so that you know if you're a user of MetaStock 17 or older, you've been with us for a long time and you liked some of the things you saw in 18, like our new updated charts and option scope and quote center. We have a lot of new features that came out when 18 was released, and you can get that on a trial too if you wanted, or simply pay a small upgrade fee to get all those new features you saw me going through. And again, to kind of end things here, and I've actually realized this is an old number. You can still reach me through that, but here's an updated phone number for me. And my email address, bobby.hiller@metastock.com. If you have any questions or want to reach out about today's presentation, feel free to do so. Or yeah, if you want to just get signed up, I recommend our chat room, metastock.com/sales chat. We're happy to answer any further questions for you there. I realize that I definitely have not been great about looking over 4 questions throughout, but it doesn't look like there's anything I've missed other than a lot of people saying hello and thanking me for my time. So, hey, thank you to everyone for joining today. Thanks for sitting through my demonstration, and we hope to see more of you. So have a great rest of your week and great rest of your night or day, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. And until next time, thanks everyone.
Hi, Kelly Clement here from MetaStock. Before you go, I have 2 quick things for you. 1, thanks for joining us today. We love having you here at our webinars and viewing our videos. So what I'd like to invite you to do before you go is like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps us a great deal, and it helps us bring you more awesome content like today's video. The second thing is we have a great ebook on trading that you can get for free. If you go to metastock.com/YouTubebook, you can get a free copy of The Secrets of Successful Traders. It's a great book with lots of content from traders just like yourself who can teach you some of the secrets that they have learned. Thanks for taking a second with me and learning about those 2 things. Thanks for joining us, and keep on trading.